שלום לבני יעקב במזרח התיכון, כל המין של הארץ, כאן אסף בנמי קריספין לוי, אשר מדבר איתכם, והעניין שלנו לדבר החוקים ומשפטים של תורה. Shalom to all Israelites, to Yaakov's sons spread out all over the world, in Middle East, in other countries, in Brazil, and our objective, our aim is to speak about the Torah. I would like to invite you to follow with us these commandments of the Torah. And I beg the Eternal One that bless you and your family, and bless all your properties, bless all your families. And let's read the Torah. And we stopped in the item 191, and now we're going to item 192. In this item, it's the next one. We speak about laws concerning times of tribulation and persecutions. In the item 192, to prepare a place out of camp of YHUH for the impure ones. Devarim, Deuteronomy chapter 23, verses 10 to 12. Devarim, chapter 23, verse 10 to 12. Let's read. When there is any man among you who is not clean because of an emission in the night, then he shall go outside the camp. Let him not come into the midst of the camp. And it shall be, when evening comes, that he barrels with water, and when the sun sets, let him come into the midst of the camp. And you shall have a place outside the camp where you shall go out. Well, to prepare a place out of camp of YHUH for the impure ones. And there were places outside of the Mahane, the camp, because when the person was impure, they get out from the Mahane, and they went to this place prepared for them. And we can see here, for example, even if it were the priestess women, when they were in the day of Nidah, and they had to get out from the Mahane, from the Beit Mikdash, from the camping. And obviously, because these persons, they could not stay in the camping, in the Mahane of YHUH, because they were impure ones. And if they were impure ones, all the things that had touched upon them certainly will get impure as well. Well, then, when there is any man among you who is not clean because of an emission in the night, then he shall go outside the camp. Let him not come into the midst of the camp. And it shall be, when evening comes, that he barrels with water, and when the sun sets, let him come into the midst of the camp. And this was for the persons that touched anyone impure, they will stay impure until the evening. And after that, he comes back to the camp. But there were other cases. For example, the women in the time of Nida, and they stayed 7 days outside the camp. And in the 8th day, she returned to the camp. Well, let's see it in the oral law, or Torah Ha'al-Peh. This item 192. Bereshit 8. Bereshit 8. Verse 15 to 20. Bereshit 8, verse 15 to 20. And Elohim spoke to Noah, saying, Go out of the ark, you and your wife, and your sons' wives with you. Bring out with your ever-living creatures of all flesh that is with you, of birds, of cattle, and all creeping creatures that creep on the earth, and let them chim on the earth and bear and increase on the earth. So Noah went out, and his sons, and his wife, and his sons' wives with him. Every beast, every creeping creature, and every bird, whatever creeps on the earth, according to their kinds, went out of the ark. And Noah built an altar to Yahweh, and took of every clean beast, and of every clean bird, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. Then you can see that the Eternal One ordered to Noah to separate the clean animals, the clean birds, from the impure animals, the impure birds. And like this place, to prepare a place out of the camp to that ones that were impure, because the Eternal One is pure, and we must be pure before him. Well, let's go to this item 192 in YHUH's time, in his Talmudin's time. To prepare a place out of the camp to those one who is impure. Yaakov, or James 1:21. Yaakov. Yaakov, or James in English Bible, chapter 1, verses 21. Therefore, put away all filthiness and overflow of evil, and receive with meekness the implanted word, which is able to save your lives. Put away all filthiness, all impurity, and the overflow of evil, and receive with meekness the implanted word, the Torah, the statutes of judges of the Eternal One, which is able to save your lives. Well, let's go to the other item 193. The camp of Yahweh must be equipped with the necessary implements to keep each in a sanitary condition, and each must do his part. Devarim 23, Devarim 23, verse 12 to 14. And you shall have a place outside the camp where you shall go out, and you shall have a sharp implement among your equipment. And when you sit down outside, and you shall dig with it, and turn and cover your excrement. For Yahweh, your Elohim, walks in the midst of your camp to deliver you and to give your enemies over to you. Therefore, your camp shall be set apart, so that he does not see unclean matter among you, and shall turn away from you. Well, another law of pureness. When the Israelites were making your physical needs, and they needed to have in their hands a sharp implement to dig a hole and to cover his excrements. It's a sanitary measure. It's a sanitary measure that the Eternal ordained. Afterwards came the modernism with the toilets, with the latrines, with other things. But in that time was so. Well, let's see it in the oral law. Oral law, this item 193, to prepare a place out of camp for physiological needs. Bereshit 8:21. Bereshit 8:21. Genesis. Bereshit 8:21. And Yahweh smelled a soothing fragrance, and Yahweh said in his heart, never again shall I curse the ground because of man. Although the inclination of man's heart is evil from his youth, and never again smite all living creatures as I have done. We can see here that the inclination of the man is to the evil, okay, and because his impureness. But the Eternal One left these laws of pureness for us to keep. And he says, I am pure. Be pure, like I am pure, says the Eternal One, Yahweh. Well, we can see here that for that Noah separated all the ark. The ark was the place. And put the animals from two to two. Because the ark of covenant, the ark of Noah, symbolizes the camp. Well, let's finalize and let's go to the Torah in YHUH's time, his Talmudin's time. Item 193. Corinthian Beth, 2 Corinthians, chapter 6, verse 17 to 18. Corinthian Beth. Second Corinthians, or Corinthian Beth, chapter 6, verse 17 to 18. Therefore, come out from among them and be separate, says Yahweh, and do not touch what is unclean, and I shall receive you. And I shall be a father to you, and you shall be sons and daughters to me, says Yahweh the Almighty. Why these laws of pureness that the Eternal commands to us? For us to be a people pure in His presence, keeping His commandment, keeping His Torah, the words that came out from His mouth. Then, therefore, come out from among them. Hallelujah. Come out from among them and be separate, says Yahweh, and do not touch what is unclean, and I shall receive you. And I shall be a father to you, and you shall be sons and daughters to me, says Yahweh the Almighty. Shalom, lekulam, Yahweh Baruch Ata, Voramish Pahagan, Zot Habrash, El Assaf Benami, Crispin, Levi, Ahazaken. Shalom Ad, Rayon Ramishi Rabba, Shalom lekulam.